Good day and welcome to my IVF Answers. I'm glad to be back here once again this week. And as you can see, we have another special guest. I'm really happy to see you here, Luis. And I hope you had a great day because I know it's evening for you. So thank you so much for joining us today and agreeing to present this particular topic. This is an important topic. We've never discussed this before here. So I'm glad that we will do it today. Hi, Louise. How are you?
I'm well. How are you? I'm so excited to be here, and I'm really excited to do something a bit different, I guess, and really talk about this really important discussion topic.
Definitely, definitely. And we are so looking forward to it. So, as you can see, we will. Louise is definitely the person to present this topic. She is the fertility coach, but also fertility workplace advocate. So she's definitely the best person to do it. And we are happy to be introducing this topic to you. And remember, before we start, Louise will go ahead with her presentation and explain all aspects of our topic today. But afterwards, as always, there will be time for your questions. So don't hesitate. As you know, we are here for you. So just type those questions in the chat, and Luis will definitely be happy to help you out with anything that you might need. And of course, remember it's being recorded, so if anyone will be able, if you will not be able to stay until the end, remember it's going to be uploaded and available on our website as well. So I think that we can go ahead. Luis, thank you so much for joining. And are you ready to start with our topic today?
I am. Thank you so much. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Louise Sawicki, and as we've said, and I am the owner and director of Louise Sawicki Coaching. And I'm a fertility empowerment coach and a fertility in the workplace advocate. So it is a personal and a professional passion of mine to really open the discussion about fertility in the workplace. We all know that fertility is on the rise globally. It's now 17.5%. 1 in 6 of the population are struggling to realize their dreams of parenthood. And fertility is not, unfortunately, it's on the rise. It's not going anywhere. So it is such an important discussion topic. 17.5% of the workforce are struggling to conceive at any one point in time. So today I just want to thank you so much for being here and really participating in this really important discussion topic. Today I'm going to give you a bit of a brief overview of me, who I was in my former life, how I got to be where I am today, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. And I know there's a lot of you that have and will have a lot of knowledge around fertility, but there are, because we're doing something a bit different, people potentially tuning in who are here to really understand how they can support employees or their co-workers in the workplace who are struggling to conceive. So I'm going to just give you a really high level overview of what fertility is, why it matters in the workplace, and then how you can create a fertility friendly workplace. So something people find really extraordinary about me is the fact that I gave birth to 3 kids in 3 years. And I guess the reason they find that so extraordinary is because I battled infertility for 6 long years before becoming a mum. And it was through this life-changing, transformational journey that I found my true passion and my purpose. And I now support people in the workplace who are struggling to realize their dreams of parenthood. And although my reach is now global, my passion and my purpose remain very personal. And for me, my journey started 10 years ago in my former life as a national business development manager for a legal transcription company. 10 years ago, fertility in the workplace wasn't really a thing. People didn't talk about it. People didn't really know about it. And it was still really taboo if you were having fertility issues. So I really struggled mentally during my time in my workplace. I was so scared of saying anything to my employer, for fear that it would adversely affect my career. So I didn't say anything at all. I was scared. I became overwhelmed with stress, anxiety, and fear. I lost confidence over time in my ability to perform in my role. I lost confidence in my ability to, well, really in every facet of my life. I started to retreat within myself, and I just became overwhelmed. I couldn't see a light outside of my fertility journey. I was using my holidays for time off to go and see doctors for doctor's appointments, surgeries, other medical appointments, and all of the planning that's involved in medically assisted reproductive treatment. There was so much involved, and I have to say, I'm really embarrassed to say that I wasn't really aware of it before I myself went on my own journey. So I had to take, because my workplace wasn't aware, I was using my holiday leave. I was using the staff lunch room fridge to house my medications and my injections, and I was administering my injections in the disabled toilets at work, and I was holding my hand over my mouth to stop myself from crying too loudly, because it was just, the trauma and the grief was devastating. And this went on until one day I just couldn't take the trauma of finding out about another failed pregnancy test via email, and then having to go in and present to a client 5 minutes later as if nothing had happened. So I told my workplace, and they were very empathetic, but there was no policies, there was no procedures, there was no education, there was no true understanding. So nothing changed. So for me, that is why fertility in the workplace is such an important issue. And we now know, with the right tools, the right strategies, the right education, and the right policies and procedures in place, it is possible to successfully navigate your fertility journey and your career at the same time. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So let me just move the slide. Oh, there we go. It's taking its time.
We can see the slide, the second slide. So maybe you just need to wait a bit.
Here we go. Okay, so what is infertility? So according to the World Health Organization, infertility is a disease of the female or male reproductive system. Okay, and it's defined by a failure to achieve pregnancy after 12 months. So let me point out here that this is a people issue, not just a women's health issue. So there's a lot of misinformation out there that boxes fertility treatment, the fertility journey as a women's health issue. It is 50% male factor as well. So that is something really important that I need to point out. And there's millions of people that are affected by infertility. According to research by the University of New South Wales, 2019, there were 88,929 IVF cycles started, and a little over 18,000 of those led to babies through treatment. And this number has substantially increased since then. And it doesn't include those that are struggling that haven't sought medical treatment. So the numbers, we can't hide from the numbers. The stats are startling. So this is why it is so important, as an organisation, as a colleague, as somebody who needs to support somebody in the workplace who is struggling on their fertility journey. That is why starting the discussion and education is key. Okay, so while we're waiting for the next slide to come up, I'm the first to admit that before my fertility journey, I did not realize how much was involved in the fertility journey, the medical side of fertility, infertility, the emotional side of infertility, all of the appointments, the scheduling. It's a full-time job in itself. So really, as an employer, understanding the needs, the practicalities of somebody who is on their fertility journey is so important, because if you understand what that person needs, then you're able to satisfactorily support them in the workplace. Okay, so studies conducted by the American National Library of Medicine showed 25 to 60% of people with infertility reported psychiatric symptoms, with anxiety, depression, significantly higher than those not going through infertility. So unfortunately, there is a lot of focus, well, not unfortunately, but there is a lot of focus on the physical side of fertility. When we first start trying for a baby, we go to the GP and we have a number of blood tests. We make sure our weight is under control. We look at our diet. We don't drink alcohol. We look at exercise. We take supplements, but we don't do a mental health check-in. And that is something that's so important to me, to really, for everyone to understand the mind-body connection, and the psychological side of infertility is just as important as the physical side. The emotional roller coaster of infertility is real. So 76% of infertility patients experienced anxiety, 56% depression, and this is the most startling statistic, 9.4% of infertility patients reported suicidal thoughts or attempts. So too many patients go into treatment completely unprepared and unsupported, then become blindsided by things like anxiety, depression, trauma, and more. And this leaves the patients feeling even more isolated, confused, and broken. Okay, so why is it a workplace issue? So with infertility on the rise, we've talked about that. And we've talked about how the journey to having a baby can be physically, emotionally, and financially devastating. So research has shown that many people experiencing fertility problems are reluctant to speak to their employer about it because they feel like it could be detrimental to their career. I mean, I was as well. And that held me in this space of feeling overwhelmed, because if I said anything, I thought it was going to adversely affect my career, when actually it was already affecting my career because of my mental state, and I didn't even realize it. So 61% didn't feel comfortable talking to their employer. Nearly 17% used sick leave for fertility appointments and mental health days, which is what I did, and 36% will consider leaving their job. Now, this could be a massive challenge for employers, both operationally and financially. So this is why it is important to have a plan in place so employees feel supported and employers get the best from them in difficult circumstances. So we now know, and I've said this earlier, but it is completely possible to successfully navigate your career and your fertility journey at the same time, with the right support, the right education, the right training, the right tools, and the right strategies in place. And that's why this is so important. Okay, so support your employee emotional well-being or risk losing them. Employees are asking more of their employers now. They are seeking employment that offer fertility benefits. They are truly understanding what an employer is offering before applying for a role. And this is really important. So to become an employee of choice, having a fertility benefit scheme is so important. So fertility not only impacts people in their personal lives, it can also impact their productivity and performance, obviously. So while providing leave to attend fertility-assisted treatments is a massive move in the right direction, which a lot of companies are now doing. So that is such an amazing initiative, but there still needs to be more focus on the employee's mental health, because the emotional roller coaster and the emotional toll of fertility is real. And with that, if you were living in a constant state of stress response, a constant state of overwhelm, it is obviously impossible to perform in your role at 100% capacity. Employee happiness, employee wellness it takes a massive dive, doesn't it? Employee emotional well-being is on the line as well. An unhappy employee is really hard to give 100% to their career. I mean, that's obviously just a fact, isn't it? So this is why concentrating on employee emotional well-being is so important. Productivity increases, bottom line increases. You're able to plan for things like absenteeism. It just makes life so much easier, and you become an employee of choice because you're offering fertility benefits. It is essential that fertility is looked at holistically, not just in terms of leave required for these types of appointments. And through my career, as well as my personal experience, I've become intimately familiar with infertility's psychological impact. I mean, that can't be denied. So according to a recent Carrot Fertility, and this is a one-of-a-kind global fertility at work report, 5,000 people globally were surveyed. 65% of respondents said they spent time at work researching fertility treatments, benefits, and family-forming treatments. 55% share that their fertility challenges have detrimentally impacted their work performance. 75% consider fertility benefits at work to be an important part of an inclusive company, culture, and would change jobs to work for a company that offers fertility benefits. 72% would stay at their company longer if they had not have access to fertility benefits. And 42% even consider it to be a deal breaker if not offered for a new job. So this is just solidifying what we've talked about. Fertility benefits are key to becoming an employer of choice, to increasing employee wellness and creating a happy, safe, supported environment for employees. Because that's what we all want, isn't it? Okay. Let me just, oh, where have I gone? Oh. Oh. Hello?
I'm here, Louise. We can see slide number 8. Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, I lost you there. I think I'm back.
Okay. Yes, we are here.
All right. Technology is wonderful when it works, isn't it? Okay, so how do we support? So we've talked about what fertility is, why it's really important in the workplace. So what do we do to create a supportive, fertility-friendly culture? So I guess there's three elements to becoming a really supportive employer. Number one is education and training. So topics such as IVF, fertility, pregnancy loss, stress, anxiety due to fertility issues, they're all highly sensitive, and it's unrealistic to expect managers to know about these issues. So if they have not personally been affected, I mean, that's just common sense, isn't it? I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. And I didn't know before I started my fertility journey. So without the proper training, managers and employees feel heightened levels of stress when dealing with the issue. So education and training is key to understanding how to support your employees, what they need from emotional, a physical, and a practical perspective. I mean, there's when we're talking about the practical perspective, it's really there's really simple things that you as an organization can implement today moving forward. It's creating a space where somebody who is on their fertility journey, who does have injections that they need to administer during the day, because there's obviously certain times, exact times that you need to administer these injections, creating a safe space just for this. Having a small fridge where you can keep all your medications, all your injections, really important. Communicating what time off you may need, really, really important as well. And the organisation understanding that that patient, their employee needs time off and might need to take some time at last minute in order to go and see the fertility specialist. So this is really, really important, and this is part of the education and training piece. Emotional support, so obviously providing access to specialised fertility coaching and support, as opposed to just a general counsellor who is not trained specifically in the fertility matters, means the employees have access to a qualified trained practitioner who's aware of the impact of fertility, and this is really important. And then building your internal network. So having someone in the organisation who completely understands the fertility journey, a person that is there for both managers and employers to go to for guidance and support. This will make a huge difference. This makes the person, the patient, the employee who is on their fertility journey, that allows them to feel included and provides a safe and supported working environment. So we can't expect everyone to know everything. So having a fertility advocate is a key resource for your organisation. Okay, so having said that, we've talked about fertility, why it's important in the workplace, why it's not going anywhere, and how you can become a fertility-friendly workplace. So there's two ways that I can support you to becoming a fertility-friendly workplace. And number one is through a fertility-friendly workplace intensive. This is a half-day intensive. It's face-to-face or via Zoom workshop. And it's ideal for employees, employers, managers, people managers, wellbeing leaders, and HR to upskill in understanding and supporting those facing fertility challenges in the workplace. You'll feel more confident in your understanding of the fertility process, how to hold those sensitive conversations, and how to support your people through this experience while at work. So we deep dive into an introduction to fertility, infertility, fertility treatments, IVF, IUI, and all the other medically assisted reproductive treatments, the different levels of impact associated with infertility, the physical, the mental, and the emotional. What does a typical fertility cycle look like, and why it matters in business, and how you can be a supportive employer, how to manage those real life conversations as well, because we all know that the language that we use to a fertility patient is really important. So understanding what language to use is key. Okay, and I also offer a one-on-one or group up to for people, 6-week fostering fertility in the wellbeing in the workplace program. So this is a program that supports you if you are struggling on your fertility journey. If you're struggling to successfully balance and navigate your career and your fertility journey at the same time. So I use my proven fertility activation strategy to create a new way of thinking. So it's a step-by-step program specifically designed with evidence-based strategies to trade overwhelmed, stressed, and anxious people struggling to balance work and their fertility journey to those that are calm and in control, able to confidently bring 100% to the workplace more often. So that is my presentation. I really hope you gain some value from that, and I will answer any questions that you have now.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Louise, for introducing this topic. As I've mentioned, this is the first time we are discussing this, and it is definitely important. And thank you for explaining and also sharing your own story, because this is also this crucial part that actually started this also for you. And I always think that whenever you are sharing your own story, it's maybe you are not thinking about it before, but when you hear it, then maybe this is something to think about as well. So thank you so much indeed. And now your favorite time. So if you have any questions to Lise, go ahead, type those in. There are some questions here. I do some people are typing, so thank you so much already for those. And I think that we can begin with the first question from Kat. So here it is. What are the most difficult challenges of balancing fertility treatments, doctor's appointments, work responsibilities from your own perspective?
I think from my perspective, personally, and also with my clients, that it is not the psychological side of things. It is, if you don't have the right tools, the right strategies, and the right support, then the whole process becomes very overwhelming. And once it becomes overwhelming in your mind, it becomes very difficult to balance everything. The whole journey you become consumed by the journey, and emotionally you can't see on the other side of your fertility journey. So you can't rationalize, you're unable to really to juggle life, because you've got all this mental clutter. So I think really, number one, it's about really stripping back. If you do get to this point and you are really struggling to balance life, you're struggling to navigate your fertility journey and your life, really, it's not just your career, it's your entire life, then it's really about understanding the different brain tools that can help you strip back and start to calm your nervous system, start to take you out of that stress response mode, start to put you in rest and reset, so you can start to think clearly. And then once you start to think clearly and you've gained control back over your mind, over your mindset, over your thinking, then you can start to implement a plan and put a plan in place. And it doesn't seem as difficult, I guess, is probably a good way to put it.
Yeah, step by step, and just organize everything in order to be able to go ahead with this. So thank you so much. Thank you for your question, Kat. I hope that helped you. I believe so. One more question from Kat. Interesting question as well. So do you know any stories, best practices from companies that have implemented supportive fertility policies or programs?
Some of the best feedback that I have had from my work has been around productivity and employee wellness increase. I worked with a company a couple of months ago, and I worked with two of their employees. Well, I worked with their managers, but specifically in this, talk about the employees that I worked with, managed, and two of their employees originally had been some of their best employees, but over the course of their fertility journey had lost confidence in their ability to perform in their role, had started to retreat within themselves. So communication between themselves and colleagues and managers had really ceased and desisted completely. They had gone from some of the best employees to some, the career was quite wobbly. So I worked with them over the course of 6 weeks and really implemented these tools, some really important mind tools and strategies to help them, as I said, strip back the mental clutter and the overwhelm. So then they are able to focus on their work and able to navigate their fertility journey without it consuming their life. And over the course of a couple of months, they really started to regain control. They started to calm and they started to become more productive again and started to really regain the productivity that they'd lost, that happiness that they'd lost along the way. And it was amazing. The transformation was amazing. Like it's just incredible. And the tools and the strategies that they're all science backed. They're all proven, but they're so simple. And it's a lot of the, I guess, everything's inside of us. We just need a little bit of direction sometimes. Sometimes we get a little bit lost. Sometimes we just get a little bit overwhelmed. And we just need a bit of support and guidance and direction to get us back to the place that we once were. And that's a really exciting bit. And the transformation is incredible in some of the, and sometimes a lot of the companies, it doesn't take much to recreate a supportive environment and see that mindset shift in their employees. Sometimes it's about just really opening the discussion, having a webinar, holding a couple of webinars to talk about fertility in the workplace, which then allows those employees that have been struggling, it creates a really safe space for them and they feel like they can come forward. And sometimes that's all it takes. And it's amazing. It can be that simple.
Should be, in fact, right? Sure. Thank you so much, Kat, for your question, Louise, for your help with this as well. And now we will have a bit of a longer question and some, so I hope that you will be able to advise here as well. And remember, we are still here for you. So if you have more questions, go ahead, type those in. And the question is here with a little bit of information as well. So what would you say to a workplace which is male dominated that think it's okay to move a woman undergoing fertility treatment to any male manager that they don't know and then say things like, well, they don't need to know your situation to support you? Having been through 14 cycles of IVF with the support of a male line manager who has learned how to be supportive over time and to constantly have them removed and fight to have them reinstated, it is exhausting and highly distressing.
I 100% agree. Unfortunately, like I said in the presentation that it is still in a lot of companies and considered a women's health issue, not a people issue. Fertility is 50% male factor, and for me, it is really about, the tides are turning. But there is still a big taboo around the subject, and there is still a lot of backward thinking in terms of being a women's health issue and women just has to deal with it. And it's something that we shouldn't talk about in the workplace, or it's just a nuisance, or it's going to, by women falling pregnant, then that's going to cause a productivity issue, not the other way around. There is still that mentality, unfortunately. But I think by talking openly and discussing the issue, and more people talking about it, talking about their struggles, coming forward and all about the storytelling, more people coming forward and talking about their stories and really highlighting how difficult it is, and males coming forward too. And I think that's really important. I talk a lot to a lot of males about how they struggle as well. So having males come forward and open up about their struggles with fertility and supporting their partners is so important. I think that is one of the best ways as a collective, if we can all just start talking about this and the struggles, to start to really turn the tide and really start to educate people, educate organizations. I mean, that's, for me, that it's really about bringing somebody in, if you can, who is going to advocate for you and can discuss certain options with your managers. I mean, if they're open to that, I mean, that would be my suggestion. If there's somebody who you know of that does work in the fertility space that could support you and your needs, and that potentially your organization might talk to, that could potentially be a good start. But other than that, it's really about, if you can find some support from somebody in the organization or outside the organization, or multiple people to start the discussion, then that will really help you. And really, it just normalizes it. It shows managers, it shows HR, it shows leaders that this is not just your issue, that there are more multiple, there is so many people affected, and it's something that's really important, and that it is an issue that needs to be addressed. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much indeed. If you have any follow-ups or you wish to ask anything else, go ahead, type this in. But thank you so much, Louise. It's so important that we are discussing this even today. And as you know, with our webinars, we also are here to educate and support. So I hope it helps you to at least, see that there are options, there are ways, and if we discuss it more, and then there is something, and there's a step by step into the right direction as well, right? So thank you so much. I don't see more questions, so we will be slowly finishing. However, remember, if you wish to ask anything, you can do it still now, or you can definitely get in touch with Louise directly, and I'm sure she'll be happy to help you out with anything that you might have. Louise, anything else before we finish? Anything else you wish to add?
No, I just want to thank everyone for their time, and I really hope that I've added some value. And if you
Definitely.
have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I can be found. Louise Sawicki is my name, and it's Louise Sawicki under all of my socials and my website as well. So please, if you have any questions at all, I'm more than happy to assist in any way.
Thank you so much indeed. And I just want to add that we are going to see Louise again. So we will definitely have more webinars with her. We already planned this, so stay tuned. And I'm sure it's going to be informative, and I'm sure it's going to be support that you need. And as you can see, there is also a comment here, so I will show you this. Thank you, Louise. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm not sure how long ago it was, but unfortunately, to date, everything you experienced still
And
happening. Yeah.
and that's why I guess we're here, and that's why I'm really trying to create, I really want to create more discussion, to create more movement, create it is still happening, and and that's what upsets me so much. And I guess that's why I'm so passionate about it, and that's why I'm trying to be so vocal about it as well. So the more people we get talking about it, the more movement we create, and hopefully the more change we can create. So that's my aim of the game, to really start a movement to create change.
Thank you so much. And that's why we are teaming up with Louise. We want to do this together for sure. So thank you so much indeed for this. And everyone, as you know, we are always keeping our fingers crossed. Best of luck, and of course, I hope you will be able to get back here. We have some more events coming up, so with Luis as well, but also if you can join us on Tuesday, we will discuss PCOS, which is actually September is. Awareness month when it comes to PCOS. So if this is something that you want to learn more about, you can join us at 5 p.m. UK time. Dr. Oliver Pack will be with us. So thank you everyone for joining. Louise, see you soon. I know we have some more discussions upcoming. So thank you so much already for this. Thank you everyone for staying. I know this time is actually early. Usually we have webinars in the evening, but I'm glad you made it. And of course, Louise, I'm looking forward to some more events for sure. Take care. Have a good day and evening. See you soon. Bye.
See you later.